might know, we're here to present the first key of our project for KFI set or Kilimanjaro Film Institute in Zambia. As you may all know, KFI set is a non-profit organization based in Zambia, focused in providing audiovisual training for youth with problems. So in terms of their objectives, so you guys all got to meet Mary, we know who KFI is, but what is their objective? Their objective is they really want to be a sustainable organization financially and also live their mission and vision, and that's by providing education, audiovisual education to marginalized students, specifically women and youth.
So we focused our objectives in three main pillars, which we follow with the How Might We statement. First of all would be how might we help KFZ become an economically sustainable organization. The second would be to build capacity and resources for to serve KFZ members. And the third one would be to increase the visibility and be able to reach to new partnerships.
So now why did we choose three How Might We statements? So we wanted to be clear, and we chose three because we want the first one to be internally focused, the second one to have the customer at the heart and center of the organization, such as their students, and the last for them to be globally focused and focused on partnerships. So we want to encompass all stakeholders in the proposal and keep that these three pillars will be the guiding light throughout our project.
So we've been connecting with KFI through our Skype sessions, and Mary, the woman that we've been connecting to, and our team, we've been discussing we've been reviewing their data and exchanging some basic ideas. One of the main things that we discussed these last weeks, it was the SWOT analysis of theirs. So I'm just going to give you examples of each one of us. So for the strength, they're the one and only one in Zambia specialized film school. And writing suitable proposals is their weakness. And for opportunities, it's that they train the students to be successful filmmakers by sending them to internships in media houses and collaborating with the media houses. And for the threats, they have like major threats that we're going to work on that. One of them is lack of equipment and how constantly to keep them updated. And of course, they have cash flow problems. Through all of this SWOT analysis, we're trying, we gathered the information to build our trend mapping.
Which brings us to the second key piece of our project. And the second methodology we use to understand KFI as a whole. So within our trend mapping, we did a scout of every main megatrend, macro trend, and micro trend. We find out that are directly linked to our project. So we describe them into 10 top megatrends, being new social fabric, information, economic shift, demographic shift, climate change, alternative learning, globalization, sustainability, tech reality, and social change. However, we decided to focus mainly in these megatrends: alternative learning, globalization, sustainability, tech reality, and social change, because we want to go, these are the megatrends that will help us go in depth and are directly related to KFI's main objective. Sorry. So one of the most important megatrends that we think is vital for our project is, of course, alternative learning, being KFI an education-oriented organization. Alternative learning is basically the new ways education is changing, the new ways we learn, and we approach new technologies, philosophies, etc. Out of which we understand this and think about, like, why is this relevant to KFI? With all of this, like, education models shifting and changing, basically we need to rethink how is KFI gonna educate this and train these people in audiovisual. So out of which these education models are providing new opportunities and new ways of, like, experiencing and demanding course offerings. out of which we came up with the main macro trends, which is learning ecosystems, customized learning, collaboration, collaborative research, lifelong learning, which help us identify the main microtrends, which can be alternative university, which is like things like Coursera or do it yourself. Like, you know, like education models are just changing, like people are looking for different options to educate themselves. Sorry guys, I have already did that. Lifelong learning, which is how people are changing. It's not just like school, university, masters, like even people with longer age or even like younger, they want to keep like learning and instructing themselves. Collaborative research is like mostly like experiencing education everywhere and being helpful, and yeah. And both customized learning and learning ecosystem is just how disruptive. It's no longer the physical space. You're everywhere. It's a world campus. And this led us to our key findings, which are concentrated in the digital education. So how this can affect KFA? Well, they have to think about the shift of flexibility in learning, the new meaning of knowledge sharing, because it's more now like a currency when we were talking about customized learning, for example. There are new profiles for both students and professors, and as I told you before, there are new infrastructures.
So at the end, I guess, for Laura's portion, if you think about it, it connects to
Yes, sorry.
the How Might We statement, which is how are they going to build capacity and resource for their students and stakeholders.
So after analyzing alternative learning, we came to analyze the globalization, which we can observe it around us or every day and worldwide. It's how every country now is connected to each other through social media, through idea sharing or cultural sharing. We identified 3 macro trends inside this. There could be idea exchange, country collaboration, and co-creation. And we thought idea exchange and co-creation were the ones more related to us and where we wanted to focus. So after we analyzed also sustainability, which the first we can think sustainability as a lack of resources, natural resources, but we can apply it to any field we can think of, such as continuous learning, continuous improvement, different lifestyles. So for the lifestyles, for example, we can relate it to this macro trend, we call it ethical living, or for other types of safety, security, or continuous improvement will be the macro trends inside the sustainability. So after thinking on globalization and sustainability and how this can help us improve the KFI project, we thought both of them could be related and go together to create a collaborative partnership, which is a kind of ideas that can be applied for this type of program and that could help us in the third How Might We statement, which is increase visibility and build new partnerships.
So in terms of the tech reality spectrum, this megatrend is something we want to keep focused. And we'll just go 2 particular megatrends that we're going to focus on that's related to KFI's objective. One is digitalization, and then one's fintech. Why is that important to them? I guess from a digital perspective, we want to make sure that the stakeholders, the staff, the management, the students have the capacity to understand digital and what it can do for them and for the organization, to make sure that they have the know-how and how to best use it and leverage technology. But what's most important is when we spoke to Mary, again, through the SWOT analysis, the weakness they have is they're very worried about meeting month-to-month operations, like the cost-wise. And I asked her, I'm like, do you have access to banking? And she said, no, we don't, because we have lack of collateral. Now in Africa, from my experience, some trends that are happening there that's well known is really microfinance. But then we're talking about how can we best leverage the trends that's happening from a global network and from a fintech perspective. So what we're going to propose to them is actually look into the crowdfunding solution. Some of you might have heard of Kiva, some of you might have heard of Kickstarter. So these are new types of solutions that's going to provide financing to them and hopefully bridge them to bankability one day and allow them to have capital and that they might not have thought of. So when we talk about crowdfunding as a specific strategy, again, that's going to tie into our first How Might We statement, is how they can be financially sustainable.
So the social change is the universal and essential law. If we're going to go in depth, it is like discovering new interactions between people, whether it is a social network or behavioral pattern or cultural symbols. Right now, the world is the world has a big demographic and social challenge that may pose big challenges to the governments and businesses. For instance, by 2030, 1 in 5 people, there will be 1 African. So this will boost the economy and improve the education, infrastructure, and health. And if they keep up the good work, Africa will be the next century's economic powerhouse. So by the SWOT analysis that we did, women and youth empowerment is our main target over here. So women empowerment is the big thing in our time, and it is fully to participate in economic growth, whether it is the fundamental key to social transformation and political stability. And how might we help them is by putting them in a safe environment and giving them their independence and boosting their skills, creating new job opportunities, and it's over here, build the capacity and resources to serve our members.
So, which brings us to our third piece.
So this is our future next steps. When we're talking about the microtrends that we're going to implement, we want to make sure that they're SMART goals for the organization, specific, measurable, accountable, realistic, and time-bound. So we believe that these goals are a good proposal. So our next steps really on our next meeting is we're going to recommend these particular microtrends as a proposed recommendation, and if they agree, we're going to incorporate that into their growth strategy and prepare project proposals for them. For now, that concludes our presentation, and we welcome you guys to check out their website to learn more about the organization.
One more.